the 585 million naira scandal. Well, a lot they say that we need to bring government to account for many things, and if you are given an assignment or given a job or given an exercise to run or a unit to man, it's expected that you should know as a public officer. A lot is expected of you, otherwise you'll be shown the way out. Well, the minister is already suspended, and we also have reports that even the predecessor, in the person of Farouk Umar, has been grilled for over 12 hours yesterday, and we don't even know if she is already out of the EFCC custody at Jabi in Abuja. But well, discussing this further in the Benin Network Center is starting from my immediate left, a political economist, a lecturer, and he is Ibrahim Momo. Thanks for joining me, Ibrahim.
Thanks for having me. Good morning, Nigeria.
And next to Ibrahim Momo is a custodian of the law, the Edo State chairman of the Nigerian Society of International Law, and also a life member. He is a Natural Republic of Nigeria and a human rights activist, Barrister Patrick Esekwede. Thanks for joining, Patrick.
Thank you for inviting me, and I'll be out there. Happy being.
Well, when the whole issue about this scandal came up, we could see Betta Edu, talking tough, trying to give some reasons why she did the right thing, or trying to give an excuse for what happened. Well, you are a political economist, and some have said that a lot needs to be done in terms of unbundling. A lot needs to be done in terms of making sure that the disbursement of funds are easily done, and that could be the reason why she embarked on that. Do you see any logical reason, politically or socially, why the suspended minister should have done that in the leaked memo?
Well, I find it disturbing, not just because of the expense, but that she got a pushback from the General of the Federation, which is Made, and she still went ahead to disburse the money to private accounts. You see, from political science perspective, when we define corruption, people have different definitions of corruption. But corruption classically is the privatization of public goods. When you turn public assets to private assets, that is corruption. There's no better way to look at corruption. In transferring public funds, a whopping 585.119 million, well over half a billion naira, to a private account, even against the advice of the Accountant General of the Federation, that is corruption. Whatever justification, whatever explanation, whatever rationale it is that she has to offer as a reason for circumventing the rules. This is in Chapter 7, I think Section 719 of the Financial Regulation Act of 2009. It's clearly stated that it is not permissible to transfer in bulk public funds to private accounts. The rules are clear. I would defend that it is the norm.
It's been in practice.
It's the practice within the civil service. It doesn't hold water. It does not hold water. What is wrong is wrong. What does the standard say? What does the rules say? Even how could you be a minister at the Federal Executive Council, one of the highest decision-making bodies of the country, and then you do not know, you're not conversant with the rules of financial regulation? That's not tenable. So I cannot, in good conscience, try to find a rationale for an obviously corrupt act. And that is why I was one of those who applauded Mr. President, because the initial statement was very challenging. When they said, okay, we are investigating the matter. How do you investigate an issue in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation when the other minister who is accused of the malfeasance is still superintending? So I was very happy when the president, during Gulali, President SC on media, announced that the minister had been suspended. And it is significant that this president came with the mind that he was going to empower youth. The minister at 6 years old. He was going to empower women. She's a woman. So she was like a poster boy, or if you can now, if you may now, poster girl, for the youth and women. This was humanitarian affairs ministry. The ministry that is perhaps one of the ministry that is handling the entire gamut of social intervention.
You still have the floor. We heard reports where it was stated that Nigeria has been the poverty capital of the world, and probably could be the reason why such a ministry was carved out in order to alleviate the plight of Nigerians, in that regard. But we captured also what that money was for, that as reported that it was for vulnerable groups in some states like Ogun, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, and of course Lagos State. Now, does it make sense to have this money, under the ministry, or it should have been disbursed directly to the states?
It should not have been disbursed to the ministry. It should not be disbursed by the ministry. It should not be disbursed by or given to the states. This woman, Dr. Betta Edu, said in a viral video in October 2023 that this government, her ministry, was going to do things differently. She said they are currently embarking on verification of 11 million households. And that the funds, it is on video, it's available on YouTube, that the funds, and I think the ITV took that story too, that the funds will be sent directly from the central bank to the recipient's beneficiary's account, directly. So this is something she said on camera, on record, in October 2023. So where is the rationale for now asking the Canadian Federation to transfer that same fund that ought to have gone to the recipient or beneficiary's account directly to a certain accountant's account?
Okay.
Where's the rationale for that?
Okay, let's look at the legal perspective, Barrister Patrick. A whole lot has been said that, one is assumed innocent until proven guilty. And we have this, for instance, like before your court, looking at what transpired, do you see any legal grounds why such should be done in terms of, diverting such public funds into private account? Is there any provision of the law that allows that?
Yeah, legally, we are guided with certain things. There's no provision for that. There's no provision for that. Not an exception to that provision.
So it's totally illegal?
Yes, it's totally 100% illegal. 100% illegal. Yes, let me just wrap just a minute and I'll come to the legal aspects. This is very serious matter. Very, very serious matter. That's why I commend the president for his drastic action. Because I believe that a country that attach freedom to democracy, if such a things happen, drastic action will be taken immediately. Just like what our president did. I commend him for that. Now, this ministry has to do with material and the poverty alleviation issue. It's a very vital one. Very vital. Very vital. I want to treat it with levity. Because by virtue of section, the constitutional attachment to it, it's not a joking matter. By virtue of section 14, 2B, what of 2B for constitution, made it clear that the primary purpose of government is for the security and welfare of the people. So if you cannot treat the issue of the people with levity, because you know too, on that 14, section 1 says that Nigeria shall be a country based on democracy and social justice. And one further gate 2 that said, power belongs to the people. So everything belongs to them. In which the government, through the constitution, draw power from. You see, without the people, there will not be sovereignty. There will not be power, because our power is donated to them. So people here, because you said that governments, the welfare and the security, if you cannot take care of these two things, that's the purpose of government. The issue of poverty alleviation, which the president made out at all costs at this time period, was as a result of protection of the constitution. The people first. Having do what he can, bring out such money. The ministry was created for it, which Betta Edu was heading. The issue is that, you see, the idea she brought is a lofty one. We're not against it, but we want to see the manner how it works. But funny enough, something different came. I don't know what he told Nigeria, what he told Nigerians. So now come probably that to your question is that there's no provision for that for you, that what they are trying to he carried. No, she's the civil service. Well, I mean, they have ethics. It is against the ethics of civil service. It's not constitutional. Because by virtue of chapter 7, section 7.3 of Nigeria Foreign Regulation, makes it clear that on no account shall no account shall you pay private money be paid to government account. And at the same time, that there is no time, there's no situation that, no circumstance that we warrant a government money to be paid in private account.
Was it possible that as at the time this was done, was it possible that she never knew about the, provisions of the law in that? Was it also possible that nobody advises such officers in respect of how to
Mr. Philip, that don't not arise. Law, like I said, less said less. The law is high, the law is law. Yeah, and ignorance of the law is not an excuse that she's not aware, she needs to know. She said, yeah, because that provision I just cited now made it clear that if such a transfer is made, it is deemed to be from the act. So there's no excuse. Well, make sure never be paid. No. I'm talking now. No, I'm coming. I'm talking. You can do that. What I'm trying to say, the provision of no waiver, not me. Even if you ever want to fall, why stop? Because it says shall, not circumstance. Shall you pay transfer public money or public account to such a thing? That in such a charge, it is deemed to be a fraudulent intention. So, by virtue of chapter 7, 7.1 the 3 of the financial regulation, it's a completely illegal act. There's no excuse.
Okay, but if such happens, is it not on the onus of the Accountant General of the Federation to nip that in the bud?
No, who ordered? Who get that instruction? Is the minister? You are going to obey the instruction. Whoever you give instruction
the
to.
Accountant is going to obey. You mean? Even when it's against the provisions of the law.
You see, she's the boss. You cannot. He's the boss. If not for that office.
Is there a way that would have been checked, maybe as a back end, in order for mistakes or misconduct not to take preeminence? A situation where the Accountant General of the Federation will also put it into scrutiny.
See,
also
there are a lot of
authority from above.
Yes,
before such is approved.
See, there are a lot of things that are involved. That's why even if you see CBN, federal bank talking about now, they are like the CBN governor is so much with enormous powers. He can do what do just like the minister. How do you check him? Give him all that you have to pay.
Oh.
If the governor of that say commissioner for finance, pay to private account, does the commissioner has to? Don't you understand what I mean? We will not say no, I will not do that. I will go against. No. But when it comes to accountability, government should be held responsible for such an act. That is not true.
Okay.
That is true. And if this woman could have gone away with it, even the president taking a party action, even amount to then the parliamentary taking over the president. For God, it's an agent of the president. Whatever action, the president is currently liable.
Okay. Such has happened already, and I'd like to get your view about the possible back-end way of cross-checking or preventing such from having his way, looking at the office of the Accountant General of the Federation. From allowing that, he said by the authority of the ministry, of the boss in charge of the ministry, the accountant has no bearing but to allow that to happen. Do you concur?
No, the Accountant General did not approve that transfer, but she went ahead with it anyway. The Accountant General, in fact, she even came out, Mrs. Madin, who is the Accountant General Federation, she came out to say that this request was made, and because it was in contravention of extant laws, it was not approved. But because, again, as you pointed out correctly, the ministry has a minister in charge. And that minister went ahead to liaise with the CBN against the advice of the Accountant General Federation and got that money disbursed.
Against the advice of the Accountant General Federation.
So if you were going to stick to the rules, that was the point I was going to make, additional I wanted to make to the point you were making that. Yeah. There's no ignorance, it's not an excuse before the law. Let's even assume that she's putting up, because she did put up that lame excuse, that it is allowed, it's a common practice in the civil service. Let's even assume, without conceding, that she didn't know that was the rule. The Accountant General Federation pointed it out to her. They told her, but she still had to do it. So that was the idea that she didn't know would not even arrive, because again, somebody with whom you wrote to gave you the feedback that no, this is not allowed. So I had to check it. I think it's very simple. The three things that we can do. The first thing is that we must ensure that people we elect to office or get to appoint to key office of the state are people with unblemished character and proven integrity. That's the first critical thing to do. I read yesterday the story of Aminu Kanu when Yakubu Gowon was head of state. People came to bribe him, as they do regularly, kick back and kick from, whatever you call them. But he collected that money and paid. Those who wanted to bribe him also tried to use it to state his character and to reduce his standing before the head of state, Yakubu Gowon. He collected the money and paid it in government's name into government account in CBN. Yep. Those who came to bribe him didn't know. At the FEC, or whatever they call it, at the Executive Council, Federal Executive Council there, the issue came up, and they accused Aminu Kano of collecting bribes. When he had the chance to speak, he told them that this is what I did, this is the receipt of payment, and confirmed with the bank. And it was confirmed. So, if you elect the best amongst us to elect to public office, and you get into appointment, you appoint people of proven integrity into public office, then the issues will be reduced. Okay.
Okay.
But what we face today is that it is the worst. It is a race for the bottom. Majority, with all due respect to the few good ones, majority of public office holders are perhaps the worst amongst us. I think it's a race for who will embezzle the most, who will corruptly enrich themselves the most. They collect public funds, they corruptly privatize public goods, and they use it to hoodwink, suppress, and oppress even the citizens that they serve.
Okay, I think I will also want you to expatiate further, but after the pendulum comes back to you, because we are looking at the legality of doing this, of transferring this money anyhow, even without the due approval of the Accountant General of the Federation. Like, how would she have been able to have access to this money if the Accountant General of the Federation is not even appending his signature of approval to it? Or there shouldn't be a thing of approval from the office of the Accountant General of the Federation, because you said earlier that she was like a boss, the ministry's chief. And so does it mean that the office of the Accountant General should be subservient?
Yeah, well, you see, there's always a way out. It's a convent things. The way out. Now, for instance, you see, you might have 3 signatories to account, or 4. You understand? Signatories. But at the end of the day, the law of the bank, we will allow only 2.
Okay.
Even when you have the 2 disagrees, the 2 can sign it
and make it fly.
It fly.
But we can't tell if that was the case.
No, we can't tell. Only
Betta Edu.
Yes, that's why it's an allegation. It's an allegation. It's alleged. It's an allegation. That's what it is. But the president have done the needful. Within his power now, what can we do? So suspend her pending the outcome of the investigation. She must be given fair hearing officially to hear her. Some now know, because now we're just getting. I don't know how the action is. We're not looking out until the committee able to carry out the investigation.
We are seeing this happening because we got to know about the story because the memo was leaked. Now, a whole lot has been happening in other ministries.
Of course.
A whole lot has been happening.
Of course.
You know, that Nigerians are not aware of. Now, what's your guide in terms of making the law work in a way that, you know, it will serve as deterrent to others? Because we keep hearing when such a thing happens, for instance, the ministers could be suspended, and one way or the other, after 2-3 weeks or a month or 2 max, the issue is swept under the carpet. What's your urge?
Well, what can you do? The politicians, they are in charge. Yes, if you bring a solution today.
Will it not be wrong for you to say that the politicians are in charge?
What
Shouldn't the law be in charge? Because we
now, let me tell you,
that no one is above the law.
Yes.
And you are a custodian of the law.
Yes.
So I put it to you that it's an error from your end.
No, it's not.
When you are a custodian
the
of the
law
law.
is clear now. See, you don't go on selective. There's a law already made on to checkmate this issue. There's a law that's. But I stated that the provision of the that you cannot transfer. You shall, no circumstance.
Okay.
What else do you want? It made that no room. It's not even given any discretion and not me.
So there should be punishment for misconduct.
Yeah, of course, that's why the company will look into it. And
there should be a reprimand.
The prosecutor, then you don't have to face normal corruption charge.
Let's take your viewpoints in that respect, because we keep seeing impunity, you know, in government.
Yes.
And how do we correct it? Because like you said, you gave some kudos to the administration of President Bola Tinubu for bringing this to light, for swinging into action. Whether you said it or Barrister said it. Okay, you also said it. Now, do you see that as being enough in terms of making a systemic impact, you know, in Nigeria's fight against corruption?
No, it's not enough that, you know, in our local parliament, say, now they catch, now the fact that Betta Edu's malfeasance has come to light, and as a result, because she was exposed, the government felt embarrassed, and they had to take action. What about, like she said, in her own defense, she was saying that it's common practice within the civil service.
It's been the practice.
What about other ministries that we have not been searchlight on?
What is going on there? Why would she have gotten that funds, you know, diverted, even without the attention or without the approval of the Accountant General of the Federation? Doesn't that really doesn't it bog your mind?
It tells you the character of our civil service in the first instance, and the nature of how governance is run. Let me tell you, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, or if you may, the predecessor to that, the precursor to that, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Social Development and Disaster Management, headed by Sadia Umar Farouk.
Who was great yesterday too,
yes,
on laundering charges of about 37.1 billion.
Of corruption. A cesspool of corruption. This is a ministry, the Nigerian government agency, the National Bureau of Statistics, did a survey on the level of multidimensional poverty in Nigeria, and it's come to the conclusion, a government agency, to the conclusion that 103 million Nigerians were living in multi-dimensional poverty. So that ministry was important in the process of alleviating poverty. Now, what happened, since its inception till date, that is Sadia Umar Farouk, or even the head of the NSIP, National Social Investment Program,
Shehu Halima.
Okay.
Or if even the current minister, we are seeing a situation of continuous acts of embezzlement going on. So the people who are vulnerable, the most vulnerable, those we need, the poverty, what you said earlier, reminded us earlier, Nigeria being the poverty capital of the world, the people who are in dire need are not even being attended to. We saw all over the news recently of 100 million naira of bags of value of rice being given to House of Rep members and 200 million naira. But I can say, for example, the senators and House of Rep members that I have access to, apart from Amaneru, the one from Isako, Federal Constituency, none of that has brought that right to distribution. And that money has been released. So we are saying that it's not that the intention is not there. It's not that the challenge of poverty is not there. It's not that the people to collect are not there. It is that those who are co-charged with implementing, those who are in charge of taking this information to the people, are themselves the ones who are corruptly diverting, corruptly enriching themselves at the expense of the poor people. And that is the challenge we are facing as a country.
Okay, thank you. I think that's also final words. Let's get your final words, Barrister Esekwene, most especially as it surrounds getting it right in the Nigerian government, making sure that all of this become history and people like this are used as to serve as deterrent to others. But do you see in any way this can be prosecuted to a logical conclusion?
Yes, of course, I see that very well, because it's an acid test to Bola Tinubu.
When you say you see that very well,
yeah,
who will be the watchdogs apart from the media, apart from SERAP, because we've also seen that even SERAP usually, embarks on this, but at the end of the day, their judgments don't.
No, you don't need to. I don't see you need all these bodies to do that. The federal government will prosecute. They're likely the prosecutor. That's what we're going to see. Each is found wanting should be prosecuted, because an indictment to the president, Tinubu government, and the world is watching. It will not be swept under the carpet.
When you say if she's found wanting, how do we ensure that this is brought to a logical conclusion?
Yeah, it depends on the.
For instance,
yes,
based on technicalities.
No technicality there. There's no technicality there. You see, based on the members of the committee that set up to look into it, the caliber, to look into it, men that there were so many of them, but they don't allow them, put like the cooker and the rest, to look into it. They will look into it and ramble it. Then the prosecutor, if she's found wanting.
How do you assess the Tinubu-led administration in this regard?
Well, that shows that it is likely to be a corrupt-free government.
Whoever it to be what?
So it's likely to be a corrupt-free, a government that has no tolerance to corruption.
Is it possible to get that?
It's okay. What happened now?
The Nigerian government.
Minister for 6 months is now out. It's a case study. It's not a joking matter.
So this should be an eye-opener.
Of course, because we also understand very well that the previous government. Someone was also indicted for one of the finance ministers was given a today it's in London. Nobody heard about it.
Okay.
Yes.
Just to say that the greatest office of the land is the office of the citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If we leave it to government alone to do, we will not get results. Our people, including the media, including the gap between the people and the government, which is the civil society, SERA, for example, must continue to be in their searchlight. The media, the citizens,
the civil society organizations
must continue to be in their searchlight on the activities of government and its functionaries.
Day-to-day basis.
If we do not hold them accountable, they will get away with anything. This issue is an issue because the media highlighted it, civil society is talking about it, the citizens are angry about it. That is why it's an issue. So I'm saying that it's the price of success is eternal vigilance. All hands must be on. Everybody must be, all hands must be on deck. Everybody must be on their watch out. If you see something, you say something. And if we elect the right people to office, and those ones get to appoint people of foreign character, none of these issues will fizzle out. It's because we are not serious as citizens in electing the right people. That's why we're having this.
Well, I must say you seized that opportunity to extend the frontiers of your closing remarks.
Yeah.
But I want to say big thanks for that. But I think you've said it all, Barrister Ezekwede.
Don't forget the whistleblowing policy. It's very much it's a lot for us to do that.
Well, we'll continue to extend the frontiers of this story, and let's see how she will be grilled. It's expected that she will be in the Jabi headquarters of the EFCC in Abuja today, where she will be answering a whole lot of quizzing questions from the EFCC, just like her predecessor also did hers yesterday. Well, we'll continue to look at this and see how this story will come to a logical conclusion where it will be serving as a deterrent to others.